Good evening, this is Patrick Christie's Tonight. I'm Nana Akua. Who would want to be a free speech champion? Being prepared to stand up and be counted, putting yourself in the firing line, literally trying to initiate positive change. Whether you agree with him or not, you have to respect his bravery. Charlie Kirk was killed in a fatal shooting while speaking as part of his America Comeback tour at Utah Valley University. He was shot fatally at 12:20 local time, with the crowd, which was seen fleeing. Witnesses explained what they saw.
And were you in the crowd when everything happened?
I was 15 feet away, and it was really hard to witness. He had just finished talking about his first subject, and as the guy said shooting or shooters or something like that, you just hear the gunshot, and I'm sorry, it was horrible, and all I felt was like everybody bringing me down to the ground, and I was sorry.
Take your time, you're okay.
All I hear is screaming, and I see people running, and I'm like, it's not safe to run, it's not safe to get up, it's not.
Charlie Kirk was a conservative activist and close ally to Donald Trump. He founded Turning Point at the age of 18 with the aim of spreading conservative ideals at liberal-leaning colleagues. Now, he also was an evangelical Christian, and he leaves behind his wife, Erica, and 2 children. Charlie hosted The Charlie Kirk Show, which was a popular podcast and radio program.
Said, wives, submit to your husbands, as it says repeatedly. But the second part is also really important. We as husbands must be willing to sacrifice ourselves for our wives as Christ died for the church. That means we must be willing to die for our wives.
And now a major manhunt is underway with the gunman still at large. The killer is believed to have fired the shot from the roof of a building near the courtyard, approximately 130 metres away from where Charlie Kirk was speaking. CCTV footage shows a suspect dressed in dark clothing, and social media clips also show a man lying on the building and then running after the shot. The FBI have released 2 pictures of a person of interest and confirmed a weapon has been found, with ammunition inscribed with trans and anti-fascist messages. The FBI is now offering a £100,000 reward in the search for the killer. Donald Trump has condemned what he called a heinous assassination.
Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace.
And he has confirmed that he will award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said last night, "My thoughts this evening are with the loved ones of Charlie Kirk. It is heartbreaking that a young family man has been robbed of a father and a husband. We must all be free to debate openly and freely without fear. There can be no justification for political violence." He emphasised there is no place for political violence, one thing that we can both agree on. But the reaction online has been shocking from the so-called #BeKindLiberals. liberals. The Sun reported 6 celebrations, twisted liberals celebrate Charlie Kirk's killing. Social media sites like TikTok, Insta and X were awash with disgusting clips of people revelling in murder. What is wrong with people? And in the New York Post, it reported Blue Sky warns users not to celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination after dozens of horrific messages posted. Some on the left are openly rejoicing in his death. But I want to reiterate, Charlie Kirk was not a politician. He was a political commentator, somebody who used his platform to express and share his view whilst encouraging debate.
I'll give you £1,000 right now if you could tell me the U.S. citizen that was deported under Donald Trump. You said that twice. Yeah, the U.S. citizen that was deported under Donald Trump. Can anyone tell me? £1,000. I'll give it to you right now. Yeah, name? Wrong. Not a U.S. citizen. Citizen El Salvador. Anyone else? U.S. citizen deported under Trump. Nope, that was a lie. You should know better than that. You go to Oxford. So that is a correction. Number 2.
That's Charlie speaking at Oxford University. This was the reason he was at Utah Valley University, to debate and to exercise everyone's right to free speech. No one should be killed for expressing an opinion. He loved his country, his family and his faith, and he will be greatly missed. Charlie just wanted people to talk. Let's hope his death marks a real turning point in political discourse, because we cannot continue down this path. Rest in peace, Charlie. Well, I'm joined now by GB News presenter Ben Leo. Yeah, Ben, it's good to talk to you. I saw that interview that you had with Charlie not so long ago. Talk to us about what the mood has been like in the US, where you are.
Yeah, good evening, Nana. Good evening, viewers back home. Hope you're doing OK. It's easy to forget that today is actually 9/11, of course, here in America. The tragedy that happened in 2001 has been slightly overshadowed by another major tragedy here in the US, with the political assassination, the slaying of Charlie Kirk, simply for his thoughts. And you were mentioning there, Nana, about the reaction by some very, very twisted individuals indeed, including, may I say, the incoming president reportedly of the Oxford Union, who was leaked in a WhatsApp group celebrating the fact that Charlie Kirk had been shot, and doing the rounds today on social media, which made me smile because it's quite poignant looking back, was a post from Charlie way back in 2016, and that proves the insight he had even as a young guy, that you can tell a lot about a person by the way they react when somebody dies, and that rings true today. Some of the images I've seen, the videos of people celebrating, the far left radicals, the lunatics celebrating the murder of another human being. Forget his politics, forget that he was credited with getting President Donald Trump elected, forget that he's a conservative. It doesn't matter. We're talking about a father, a husband, a friend, a son, and most importantly, the father of 2 young babies. As you've already mentioned, Nana, there's a massive, massive manhunt still underway here in the United States, in Utah. The gunman is still on the loose. Likely, he's a college-age shooter. According to the FBI, the picture you showed just then appears to suggest that the suspects they want was of college age, and the FBI is now offering a whopping $100,000 for any information. The rifle the person used was a bolt-action rifle, so suggesting it's a hunting rifle or even a sniper rifle, certainly with a scope, because the single round that killed Charlie, that ended his life, penetrated his neck. Whoever fired the gun slipped away amid the chaos. They ran through off a roof back into some woodland where FBI and police have been scouring. And most importantly, Nana, as you've already mentioned, they recovered ammunition which was scrawled with pro-trans ideology messaging and so-called anti-fascist messaging. And it's the same old story, isn't it, Nana and viewers? The so-called anti-fascists, if indeed this ammunition was from the person who killed Charlie Kirk, it's the anti-fascists who behave in a way that they protest so much against. They shut down free speech. They didn't want to debate Charlie Kirk with thoughts or ideas, as he came to fame with doing. They wanted to finish him with bullets. Kirk had received thousands of death threats before, according to Turning Point USA. They released a statement around an hour ago. They said everybody at the organisation is crushed and devastated. All of us have lost a leader, a mentor and a friend. Charlie was no stranger to threats. He received thousands throughout his life. And now Charlie has become America's greatest martyr to the freedom of speech he so adored. President Donald Trump has awarded Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom today. He announced that at a poignant 9/11 ceremony in Arlington here in D.C. And it has to be said, Nana, that this is a dark, dark day for democracy. It's a dark day for freedom of speech. It's a terrible, horrific day for Charlie's family. But most importantly, it's a dark day for humanity. The reaction we've seen from some very disturbed people, twisted, warped in their mind to the murder of another human being, is sick.
Ben Leo, thank you very much. It's really good to talk to you. That's Ben Leo. He's out there in Washington, D.C. But let's get the thoughts of my panel. So joining me this evening, former Conservative MP Anna Firth, also Lord Sean Bailey, and also Sebastian Selig. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Nana.
Hi. So it's very sad, isn't it? What is wrong with people that when someone dies or is killed in this way, that you could actually celebrate it? What do you make of this, Anna?
Well, I think that is absolutely sick. And I was particularly pleased to see Blue Sky saying we don't want this on our platform. They all should be saying things like that. Yeah, okay, that's not free speech, but you're saying to people, come on, let's behave decently. I mean, I'm a mum. I've got three children, and when I saw that video with the little girl, it's been a bit running to Charlie. I mean, it made me feel really, really upset. I mean, it is a dark day for democracy. It also brought back for me what happened to Sir David Amess, who I took over from. It always seems to be the nicest people that get targeted, because from what I've read, Charlie Kirk was always polite, he always used facts, he always played the ball, not the person. He was the embodiment of decent, free speech. And I think it'd be lovely if this became, a moment for change, but because it really does need to change.
I mean, Sean, even if you didn't agree with what Charlie Kirk was saying, the fact that he was executed, because this was a targeted execution, this wasn't a random killing. The fact that he was executed, does that not kind of worry you? Because you're in a position where you're actually, expressing views, expressing your opinion. How does that make you feel?
Look, I think it's a problem in the Western world. I mean, when I ran for mayor, the level of death threats and stuff I received and racial abuse was incredible, to the point where the police got involved. And they gave me a panic alarm and all sorts of stuff, and had to patrol near my house and all kinds of madness there. But what's really important is these things build from a small start. And the reaction of the incoming president of the Oxford Union, if that's true, in my opinion, he shouldn't be allowed to be the chairman, because what goes on behind closed doors, that's one of the bastions of our civil society. And to believe that someone's going to lead that will then be leading other students into believing something like that is the right thing to do, shouldn't happen. And then it goes wider. Papers like The Guardian, and I say The Guardian because it's on the left, they should be investigating that so they can demonstrate to the public, yes, they're left-leaning, but they're decent as well. Because you can bet your bottom dollar if it's on the other foot, if it was a right-leaning student who said something, they'd be right in there asking the question. So do the same to everybody else. And it reminds me of how the Nazis grew. Because the left does group better, that's their thing, they do group, they convince themselves in their own bubble that they are correct, and they demonise on a very large level and then justify that. They should look at their young people, make sure, yes, have your opinion, but don't demonise and don't treat people this way. He has been murdered for his views. People on the left need to steward their own young people so they don't revel in this.
But to be fair, people on the right can behave equally as badly.
I only talk about people on the left because that's what we're talking about, because people on the right are equally as bad, let's be clear.
Now, Sebastian, you're more to the left.
Yeah.
You see this. What do you think about all of it? What are your views?
Well, let's be real here. A man has died. A family man has died. Whatever you think of his politics, now's not the time to raise that. Whether you are joking or celebrating, that all is completely disgusting. What we have here is an act of political violence. That should shake us all, even on this side of the Atlantic. We've seen it at least twice in the last decade. MPs killed, tragic every time. I would hope that if there is one silver lining from all of this, it creates an honest conversation in America about gun violence.
Yeah.
It is a scourge in that country. There is a school shooting more than once a week so far this year, and that should scare all of us. And I would really hope, completely taking into account the views of Charlie Kirk as well, I know he wouldn't be a fan of this, but I hope that conversation is finally had in that country.
Well, we spoke to Suella Braverman earlier as well, and this is what she told us.
Charlie Kirk was simply freely expressing his political views, and for that he lost his life. What does that say about the state of American society, British society, Western society, when violence has come to dominate our political discourse? We can't go on like this, and I hope this is a moment for everybody to take stock and think about how the society is moving.
I mean, that's Suella Braverman earlier. Now, she's right, isn't she? She's right. I mean, I've had death threats. I've had the same thing. I mean, I've had loads of them.
Yeah, and obviously, as an elected politician, we now have to have a measure of protection around our surgeries, and we were given panic alarms. But what I think we have absolutely lost at the moment is the ability to say that just because I don't like what someone's saying, I may hate what they're saying, doesn't make them necessarily a bad person. It doesn't mean that I had the right to be angry with them, and in this instance to take up arms. But we've lost the ability to debate
that's why
civilly.
Charlie Kirk was special, because he wasn't saying to people, you're bad because you don't have my views. He's saying, let's have a conversation. I believe what I believe, and I believe it a lot, but let's have that conversation.
That's right.
And he would have that debate. And I know I would openly tell you that people on the right have extreme views and do silly things, but I still think people on the left, the group nature of that activity leads itself more naturally to pile-ins. You only have to go on social media, say something. I mean, who invented cancelling people? It's always the idea that if you don't have our view, we will eradicate you. Where Charlie was important was, if you don't have my view, let's talk about that.
I agree with you, Sean, but I think social media does have a real part to play here. And taking the politics out of it just for a minute, the problem is that if someone has got a view that actually isn't at all appropriate, and you go down the pub, someone will say, well, that's a bit off, you shouldn't be saying that. But if you do that in your room on social media, you will find 10 other crackpots that will actually affirm what you're thinking.
People are scared them as well, because if they don't agree with you, or they do agree with you, they don't want to say it because they're worried about what might happen. Well,